So my name is Dr. Brandy Phipps. I'm an associate professor here at Central State University with a split appointment in the Department of Agricultural and Life Sciences and also in the Agriculture Development Research Program, which is the land grant division of Central State. A lot of the work that I do is collaborative, whether that's with people here at Central State or people that are outside of Central State. So for example, one of the projects that I'm running, which is less on the biomedical side and more on the food sovereignty and food system side of the work that I do, which I haven't touched on yet. I work with a tribal college in Wisconsin, the College of Menominee Nation. And so and on any of my projects, I have social scientists, whether that's economists, whether that's historians, medical anthropologists, those sorts of people, so that working together, we can provide a more holistic picture of any benefits that we might find or information that would be relevant to consumers that want to know more about alternative medicines or foods that would be healthy for them. The goal is to use every bit of information that we have available. So what we've been using, right, which is the things that you can find out in a lab, right, using lab equipment, but also the historical and anthropological knowledge that exists that's come down, like I said, through oral and written traditions from different cultures. How do we combine those in ways that, like I said, give a bigger and better picture for overall health of people and better quality of life? In a lab setting, usually I have, like I said, several projects going on at once, and I usually have between 2 and 4 students on each project. And not only will I have them working on projects that I've already designed and gotten funded, but I encourage them when they come into lab to think about their own excitement. So what about this project that you're doing would you do differently? What are questions that you want to have answered that maybe I'm not already asking? And so helping our students understand that I'm not the expert in everything, that they have their own curiosity and their own thoughts and ideas, and helping them to embrace those and become more confident in those is going to make them better suited when they go out into any field that they choose. When students help, can they help design the curriculum? Not only would I say an emphatic yes, but I would say if education is done correctly, students should be involved in the co-creation of curriculum both inside and outside of the classroom. I had the wonderful honor of being awarded the USDA and APLU Faculty Excellence Award in Ag and the Nutrition Sciences last year. I received it in Seattle in November of last year. And one of the reasons that I was chosen for that award was because of how I have demonstrated community in my classroom and with my students. And so I take seriously the thoughts and the opinions of students. I hold them accountable to having opinions and to giving me ideas and to evaluating my class, not just on those Scantrons, right, once a semester, but all throughout the semester, telling me how better they might want to learn something or where their interest is sparked, and so we can explore those. I'm currently teaching a global and cultural nutrition class where they're learning about all the major ethnic groups that are in this country, what the therapeutic uses of foods are from those cultures. We just finished, this week we're finishing Central Europe and the countries of the former Soviet Union, and then we move next week immediately into African and Caribbean Black culture and history. And so they're really learning not only about their own history and culture, but also about the culture and histories of everybody that they might come into contact with. And I think this information is long overdue, and we have a major health problem in this country. And so anything that I can contribute through this work here, or the work that I do out in communities with the food sovereignty work and the food systems transformation work that I do out in community, all of that is time sensitive because we need it now, because people need to be healthier now. At the same time, it's never ending, right? People are always going to need to eat. There's always going to be plants and fungi and et cetera that we're discovering that, and I say discover, rediscovering perhaps, re-getting to know perhaps. And so being able to continue doing that for the rest of my professional life, I don't think that'll ever stop being exciting to me. I don't think it'll ever stop being relevant, and I don't think it'll ever stop being important and impactful for society at large. In my particular research, I'm thinking beyond simply what's in the foods, but also food packaging, food combinations, how food is marketed. And while that's not specifically the work that I do in this lab, it's really, really important. And I would even add to that and say, how does the quality of soil affect nutrients in the foods that we eat? How does the quality of water and air where plants are growing affect the nutrient quality? And there are faculty members on this campus that we're talking about those things and considering how we might collaborate in that kind of work. And so in addition, I would add that not only is thinking about packaging and food combinations important, but also thinking about our own mindsets towards foods, whether that's foods that we've grown up with or foods that we've never been introduced to. And so we talk a lot in our class about how the media and other sociocultural factors affect people's choices that they make about food. And I would put choices in quotes because often what we consider as choices aren't really choices at all. It's what's available. It's what we can afford. It's what we grew up with, so that's what we have a taste for. And so I also work with my students to think about those things not only for themselves, but when they come into contact with future clients or patients, if they become physicians or wellness trainers or physical therapists or dietitians or that sort of thing, because we have to consider, again, a holistic view about everything related to food and its impact on health. And that starts, and so I take a food systems approach because you can't just think about the bite that you're taking. You have to think about everything from the soil, the water, the air, the processing, the packaging. How do we treat the workers at every step along the way? What is their health like? What does food justice within a food system look like? And so lots of questions. I certainly can't answer them all, but I am going to give it my best shot with some of my favorite colleagues that can fill in the gaps in areas that I am not an expert in. The work that I do here should have an impact, in my opinion, on every part of the food system. And so that could be what a farmer chooses to plant. For example, one of the hemp research projects that I'm working on with Dr. Schlettenhofer might increase diversity of crops in the state of Ohio by introducing more hemp into some of the crop productions that are happening right now. And certainly that's the same with vegetables and other specialty crops that we could introduce into Ohio or beyond that both help quality of life of consumers, right? But also stimulates the agricultural economy and business of the state of Ohio and beyond as well. So why should somebody choose Central State University? Well, I think I encouraged my own kids to attend small schools because of the personal interaction that you get with your faculty. Nothing against very large, perhaps very popular schools in the state of Ohio, but you are not going to get a chance if you are at one of those larger schools to come in and work face-to-face and right next to an expert in their field. You're not going to get the opportunity necessarily to get papers published with your name on them, to get to travel to international conferences and national conferences to present your work. The skills that you gain at a small institution like Central State that is so heavily focused on developing our students inside the classroom, outside the classroom with professional skills is really second to none. And I would love for more students to join us here at Central State and to work in my lab here with me if they're interested in nutrition and health.